Antara. Antara Bose, I'm 27. Just turned 27. But a lot of things. I have a typical 9-to-5 job. But apart from that, I also head a modeling and events company. So by passion, I'm a writer. I write for Paws of Oman. I do the High Weekly column. And I'm a beauty contributor. So it just started on that. Apart from that, I MC, I do a little bit of anchoring, voiceovers. Don't judge my voice right now, I have a cold, so no comments. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I think I owe it to my parents. They were always a sort who would go like, you want to try something, go for it. Test new waters, experiment things. Even if I would come back home crying, it's fine. It's all a learning experience. So unlike a lot of people right now where it's just an overnight thing where they've stepped into modeling and you know how it is. I started pretty much from promotions, so no shame in admitting that. So promotions at malls, from there on it got on to events. Then I met a lovely lady. She was into fashion shows and stuff. She used to coordinate and choreograph the entire thing. So she said, give it a shot. I did. Then got into full-fledged modeling, photo shoots, all of that. And after a few years, doing the same thing again and again, I was like, okay, let's get on the other side of the camera. Not photography, I'm really bad at that. But I was like, okay, let's train models, let's scout for new faces. And then from managing fashion shows, we got to managing full events. And it's been 3-4 events now that we've done, complete events, and it's been lovely. This is going to be a really short one. I was a fat little dorky kid in school. I am just glad that changed. My best friend asked me this just 3 days back, and the only thing that I told her, she's like, what motivates you, what keeps you going? And I think if you ask me, there's always that one thing that you really, really want real bad, so just think about that one thing and then look at all the things that you have, so instantly you start appreciating everything that you have, all the opportunities that you have, and you walk towards getting that one thing that you want. Now what I want is going to be a little secret, but all those late nights, those endless paperwork presentations, when I think about, okay, I'm going to do all of this and I'm going to get that thing, it just works. The entire deal just becomes so much easier. Just give everything a shot. I know sometimes it might be like, oh, it's not as fruitful as I thought it would be, it didn't work out, but you learn from everything. It will give you some chance, probably it'll give you a contact, open a door. It's always helpful to just give everything a shot. Not too well. I'm not proud of the fact that I don't handle rejection well. I think everyone should take it in their stride, but I'm still learning. But every time, yes, that I've not been able to get a yes, I think I come back with double the power. There's nothing like this door is closed. Like you can't go wrong every time, So there's nothing like, okay, you can't do this again. If the door's closed, load it with the dynamite, use a rocket launcher, do something. And I hope there's no one else listening because I don't want to get arrested for this. It's all just symbolic. So yeah, that's that. Close friend once told me that if you have people really, really jealous, then you're going the right way. And as shallow as it may sound, it's sort of true. But honestly, I think I've got, when it comes to my friends and family, I don't think I've faced any sort of hate or jealousy. They've all been very supportive, and I think it's more of a give and take thing, right? So love the world and they love you back. If it's work, it was always a steady learning curve, so that was fine, but I think I faced most resistance when it came to my animal rescues. It started when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. No, I was 10, and we were in India for a brief period of time. We were staying there for 2 to 3 years, and I had community dogs, and they'd been there for generations, and suddenly some couple of people got a little hysteric and they decided to have them removed. So they called in the municipality, they came in, they took the dogs and they went, and it was really, really bad. But I think what was an achievement for us is Mom and me actually went back. We went to the place where they had kept the dogs and we brought them back. But again, we were fighting against 1,000, 2,000 people, and it was just Mom, Dad, me and my grandparents, and there's only so much that we could do. So when my mom was out of the country, my dad was out at work, they brought the van again and they were taken back. This time there was no point bringing them back because the cycle would just keep on going. So we we checked where the dogs were released, but that was pretty much the max that we could do. But what happened after that is there were a lot of robberies because my security did a pretty crappy job. So things started happening, and that's when I took this opportunity to actually tell people that, look, if you let these dogs stay, they'll automatically guard the place. And I tried to create awareness, and from then on I started even writing articles. I wrote an article I actually put aside all, school books and everything, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna probably write an article to the newspaper, I'm gonna write an article, I'm gonna probably give a speech in school. I actually got down to that. I started creating awareness. Again, there was a lot of, since I was young, no one really took me seriously, but what changed was I was given the Gold Award by Maneka Gandhi for All Lovers of Animals, and that really changed, that's when people actually started listening. But to change people's mindset was really, really hard, because that's something that they've always believed in. They always thought dogs were filth, and to actually get somebody to be like, hey, no, they're living creatures, they're nice, they're cuddly, so that was really, really hard. The rescue community over here, the animal rescue community that I work with, and the people that I know, they're all amazing. They've got the same aggression when they see any acts of cruelty. They've got the same passion. So, and what's most amazing is it's funny, but it's sweet at the same time. Is if I know you're into rescues and I'm into rescues, even if tomorrow you have a personal venture, I will still support you just because I know you're a good person and you love dogs. So it's a different bond altogether. So the rescue community here is amazing. There is, of course, this is where there is a lot of hate. If they can't, we only try to tell people that, look, if you cannot do any good, don't do any bad. But the more, I think it comes on their ego or something, because the more you tell them that, listen guys, just back off. If you can't help, don't do anything at all. But they just get egoistic about it, and they just end up doing more damage than good. So that doesn't go down too well at all. Usually people back off, but again, I don't want to point to a certain segment of people and stuff, but there are, I know, and that's the kind of people we don't mess with, because we know that even if you try to tell them, even if you try to tell them to back off, they're probably gonna call the cops or they'll do something like that. So we just don't entertain them at all. It's just like, don't listen to what they say, don't look at whatever they're doing, just continue with what we have to do. I think, and I think it's particularly hard over here, it's rehoming them, because it's an entire package. When you rescue a dog, it doesn't just stop at that. If you found a dog which has got an infection or a broken leg, it's not just about picking the fellow up, getting it off the road. You have to take it to the vet, you have to treat it, make sure the fellow gets a home after that, because sometimes they're there for about a month or two getting treated and they get used to the environment. So then releasing them back gets difficult. So it's important that we actually find homes, and that's the hardest bit. Or when you see pictures of them a year later and they're all running around, they're happy, they've got their new family, you can actually see them smiling. And when you see, even just like you've had a bad day, you've probably lost a dog or a cat because of something unfortunate, and you almost feel like, oh, you know what, this is just too hard, I can't do this. And you just see that one picture and you're like, you know what, no, it's all worth it, let's just go for it again. You cannot give an excuse that, oh, I'm tired, I can't go today. Even if you get a rescue call at 11 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, you still have to go, because sometimes a life depends on you. Of course, when you get a rescue call, we have our areas allotted. We have this SOS group, and we have okay, so if things go down in Kurum, this is the person to call. Things go down in Wale, this is the person to call. So they don't expect you to go 50 kilometers away, but if it's in your area and it's even late night, none of us refuse, because we know that life depends on us. And lifestyle implications, well, we have strict feeding time. So 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. You need to get out. This is for the community dogs and cats. So my mom and me, we get out, we feed everybody. And even if, actually my mom's really supportive. So even if I'm out doing something, she makes sure that all the dogs and cats are fed. So yeah, it's a lot of discipline, I guess, because 5 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the evening, afternoon, give them some tidbits. So yes. Again, we don't have any registered organizations here, you don't have an SPCA or a PETA or anything, but of course we do have voluntary groups, and they're great. The lady who started Amani Paws, Nada, and she's an inspiration. And the amount she does is amazing. Varsha is also there. I think she's got about 15 dogs at home and so many cats. But it's a great platform. Like there's a Facebook group. There is I'm not sure if there's something on Instagram, but I'm pretty active on the Facebook group, and it's a great platform to actually network and meet people who are into rescues and stuff. But what happens often, and the reason I started doing things more solo and with close friends, is people get really critical. Like you could have a simple post about a dog, you're looking for a foster home for a dog, and people can get really critical about it, that hey, why don't you take it in for yourself, or there's a way. Like, listen man, I'm just trying to find the dog a home. It's just, so you don't want that. You're all trying to do the same thing. And then there's a lot of politics, and it's a shame that even if it's a charity organization and in a place where there isn't so much rights for animals and stuff, it's a shame that there is politics even in this. There are ego clashes, and you can't even rely on a Facebook commitment. You can't just if somebody said that, hey, I'm going to foster this pup for 1 month, and you take it in, and then tomorrow he just backs out, there's nothing you can do. So the reason I decided to pretty much do how much ever I can alone is because I know my limitations in terms of funding, in terms of keeping the rescue. So it's easier for me to just plan my thing than depend on other people. And also I don't want to be criticized about why did I not do something that in a particular way, So that's pretty much why I've decided to do stuff on my own. But again, the platform is great. In case you're stuck at a place, like if tomorrow I find a cat over here and I don't know what to do, I can instantly put a post, and anyone who's in PDO, there will be somebody from the group, and they will come down and help me. So it's a great platform to actually reach out to people. But in terms of fostering and things like that, people can get a little critical. So yeah, you'd rather, like, how much ever you can, you do it on your own. That's where you start taking responsibility instead of just depending on other people. Learn to take responsibility. A rescue is not just about reporting an accident or an incident. It's not like I just take a picture and go like, oh, there's this dog that's hurt over here. It doesn't end there. You notify the right people. You wait there until the people come. As much of an assistance, if you can't reach out to them yourself, wait for people to do it. And whatever little bit you can do, probably leave a donation. Just be involved in whatever you've reported. So that's, no one's asking you to take the dog home and everything on your own. Do whatever you can, but be responsible, be accountable for whatever you've started. Lots. I've lost count because we've treated them. There are TNR programs now. So it's like trap, neuter, release. So you bring them in, you neuter them, and you release them to control the population. So we've done a lot of that. My aunt has this huge backyard where there are, hundreds of cats. So cats, the number of cats we brought in are not even crazy, because we just bring them in, treat them, and then goes to my aunt's backyard. Bring them in, treat them, goes to her. So dogs, I think if I had to count, probably 10 to 15, including puppies and stuff like that. We've rehomed and things like that. And again, there are all the other rescues which we take directly to the clinic. So unfortunately, we don't really have a registered organization, but I think the voluntary groups have made massive improvements. We have, as I said, we have the TNR programs where people actually, like, the volunteers actually bring in their community dogs and neuter them. So that way we're at least controlling the population. I wish there was a registered organization, but unfortunately not. But again, the voluntary organizations, the voluntary groups have really done well. As I said, we have TNR programs. The volunteers themselves bring in the community dogs, get them neutered and release them so it controls the population. Apart from that, even facilitating adoptions outside the country, before it was like people didn't know what to do. So even if we can't get a home, and as I said, rehoming dogs and cats, dogs specifically here, is really hard. So even if we can't find a home for them here, we can always we'll post it on the group and stuff. And if we're able to fund it, we can even take it outside. We can get them homes in UK, and we've done that. We've done a lot of adoptions outside, and I think that's a great change. And we're still getting there. A lot of improvements to come, but this is it for now. Also, even though we don't really have a dedicated line to call in case of emergencies, there are so many people we can reach out to in case things go, like I know people call me at even at night and stuff like that when there's something going down, so at least they can reach out to us so we can do something about it. If there's an emergency, we are there are people to reach out to. Is it wrong if I say I don't? Because I really don't have much of a balance. But the only time I get to relax is when I'm not in the country. So I have these 2-week vacations that I take, just relax, cut off from civilization, then come back and get back to it. So that's about all I get. Well, I just don't indulge in a lot of bad habits. Of course, we all have our set of bad habits, and it's okay to give into temptation sometimes, but just keep it up on it. That's about it. I used to work out a lot before, like every morning, but it's not the same anymore. But I'm really active otherwise, so I guess that counts. And I eat well. That's pretty much it. I'd like to sit down, read a book, play some good music, and have my dog or my cat cuddle next to me. They usually don't because they're terrified of me cuddling them, but I would like to hold on to them and just keep cuddling them and squishing them. Well, I would tell people to not be lazy because I think that just happens to everyone over here. But the minute you get lazy, I think your mind just gets rusted. All those plans of conquering the world, it just goes right out of the window. So just be active, be ambitious, and don't be lazy.